Hiya folks, JD here, and today we're going to be looking at the Fimi A3's transmitter. Now, this thing is lovely. I've got a couple of good points and a couple of very bad points, so what I want to start off with first is the good. I don't like to start off on the negative. So to begin with, let's look at its actual usability. So for this, I'm not going to attach the quadcopter, but I am going to turn the transmitter on just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So first of all, let's look at this display. Display is nice, big 4.3 inch display. No problem in actually seeing it when you're inside. No problem in actually reading it. The numbers and all the letters are quite easy to distinguish. You've got your quadcopter battery, your transmitter battery, you've got your quadcopter voltage, you've got your satellites, GPS or altitude hold mode, you've got your SD card. Now that's a very good plus point. Now I have flown this without the without the SD card, and all you see are these zeros. As soon as the SD card is placed inside the quadcopter, which is at the back by the battery bay, then you have however many hours, minutes and seconds are left on that particular SD card. Then you have your signal, and then you have your battery. You've got your height, your speed, your distance, and your height again there. So I like it. It's very easy to see. It looks like it is an IPS display because it's not whiting out when you're looking at the corners. It's nicely angled, as you can see. It's tipping down the bottom there so that you have to lift it up there to see it. It's very nice as long as you're inside. As soon as you're outside, I find this is just black. You can't see anything unless you really raise it up to your face. But at that point, you've got your antennas and your fingers here. Say now if the top of this lens was your face, you'd be flying it like this. So you'd be flying it right next to your face, and even then is quite difficult to distinguish. You can add a little sun shield onto it, and that does make a bit of a difference. I have tried the sun shield that I've got here, which is not the official one, it's just one that I've made up, and that works, and it works quite well. Now, in having the sun shield, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. It just is a little bit of a box coming off here, and it just adds, well, it doesn't really add anything to the transmitter weight-wise. It's very, very light, but at the same time, it's a bit of an annoyance. Now, as soon as the light goes away and you haven't got that glaring sun, you can see the display without there being any issues. As for the actual movements of the quad, I find that to be very nice. Now, in the unboxing, I said that I didn't know exactly how these analog sticks would go into relay, because the resolution is very nice, but I didn't know exactly how far, because there's a little bit of, resistance there until you get to about there, which is about a good 25-30% into the actual transmitter and analog stick movement before you actually feel as if you're free to move and it's not just the analog stick fighting against you. But that being said, as soon as I was flying, I didn't actually notice that whatsoever. The quadcopter relayed the transmitter signals very, very easily, very effectively, and I found the quadcopter's movements weren't actually that wobbly. They were very, very stabilized, very, very smooth. Even when you're going at full chat, 18 meters per second, and you take your finger off for positive pitch and the quadcopter's air brakes kick in, it's still very, very controlled. All in all, I liked it. Now, the buttons, easy to use, no problem at all. The actual switches, no problem whatsoever. The rollers, again, no problem at all. Didn't have any issue whatsoever. The antenna, great. There are actual real antennas. The two buttons at the back, no problem at all. Very easy to get to. No issue there whatsoever. Now, the main issue I have with this, or same as the home button, absolutely fine. The main issue I have is this. Oh, there we are. This menu system, because when you are outside and the sun is blasting this little screen and you can't see this menu system, it's very difficult to know exactly where you are. So this menu system is, well, it's quite self-contained, it's quite easy. You can go through it, you can find exactly what it is that you want, and you can execute just by moving down. And it's very, very simple. Move to the left, gets rid of the menu. Move to the left again, brings the menu back. If you're inside a sub-menu, click to the left again, and it gets rid of that sub-menu. It's very, very easy. Don't have any issues in using it there until you get stuck inside that menu system. Then it's quite difficult. You can push up just to get to your features. You can push down, and it just gets into the camera features should you want to use it. All in all, it's pretty good. you know, it's very, very easy to use as long as I say, you can actually see your display. If you can't see the display, you're having to bring this up, hold one hand over the top of it here, and still trying to use it. It can get a little bit fiddly, especially when the quadcopter is active. Now, overall thoughts and impressions about this. I like it. I like it a lot. It is a very, very comfortable transmitter. It's very light. It's not that heavy at all. I mean, it's full weight. If I'm to put it onto the scales there, its full weight is coming in. Oh, premature. It's full weight. Oh, come on. 0 out, please. Thank you much. There we go. 287 grams. So not far off the weight of the quadcopter. The quadcopter is about 316, if I remember. So 200 odd for this. Feels quite nice. Nice little handhold to the back there, makes it feel like a very comfortable transmitter, and the fact that it's so smooth and so soft on your hand as well, it actually feels really nice, no problem at all. Now, as for the underside, the SD card fitting is quite easy to use, apart from I did find that there's a huge gap in here, so not all of that is the SD card writer, so be careful when you put the SD card in. If you have the SD card placed like this with the analog sticks upwards, then you're going to want to be putting the SD card in towards the bottom area here. If you put it in too much at the top, it feels like it's going to slip inside, which can be a bit deadly. And then you've got your charging port there. One thing about the charging I found really, really annoying. If you're just charging off the wall socket, no problem at all. If you're charging off a micro USB port attached to your PC, your Mac, your Linux box, whatever, then what you're going to find is going to bring up a sub-menu. You haven't got to activate that sub-menu. If you ignore it, then it'll just ignore the sub-menu and the battery will continue to charge. But there's no actual indicator when you have it plugged into your PC that the battery is charging. You just hope that it is. So the way I found out was I plugged it into my PC, left it in there for a little bit, came back a little while later, unplugged it, and the battery percentage had increased. So that's how I knew it was charging. If you plug it into the wall, I'm pretty sure it won't bring up that sub menu asking you if you want to use it as a camera, if you want to use it as a mass storage device or whatever. So that is another thing I found a little bit annoying. They could have had a fourth option that just said charge only, which would then show a flashing battery icon or something. I'm just thinking of things that would have made it a little bit easier for a first-time user, because when I first started using this, best part of maybe a week ago, I noticed that it was something that probably I thought it was lacking. That being said, those are my positives and negatives for the transmitter. I think it's got good range. Uses 5.8 gigahertz. Now, the 5.8 is good. You're going to get more interference with 5.8, but at the same thing, you're not just going to have the signal dying off. I have flown at about 220 to 270 meters in between there, more towards the 270 mark, and I've still got full FPV relaying, which is not too bad at all. I'm going to try and see if I can push it a bit further and see how far I go. But so far, I can't really fault this. I think it's pretty good, apart from the display in very light sunlight, which pretty much is useless. There we are, my friends. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have you got the Fimi A3? Let me know exactly what you think about this transmitter. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening, friends. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and ring that bell too. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.